Before you commence with examination, counsel, let me just ask the detective, have you reviewed or listened to or followed any of the trial testimony so far in this case?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you for that. I'll just advise you to please make verbal, audible responses to your questions and try to avoid talking at the same time as anyone questioning you so we can keep a clear record. With that in mind, Mr. Wood, you can inquire.
Thank you, Your Honor. Before I inquire, the state would move by way of stipulation to enter into evidence multiple business records, affidavits. If you'd like, I can go read through the exhibit numbers on those.
Okay, let's go through and call out each exhibit number, and I'll confirm that there's no objection.
Okay. State's Exhibit 63.
Any objection to that being admitted?
Your Honor, it's true that under Idaho Rule of Evidence 902 business records, we are not intending to object.
Okay, thank you for that. So 6-3 will be admitted.
State's Exhibit 6-4.
Any objection as to 64?
No, Your Honor.
All right, 64 is admitted.
State's Exhibit 65.
Any objection as to 65?
No, Your Honor.
That will be admitted.
State's Exhibit 66.
Any objection on 66?
No, Your Honor.
That's admitted.
State's Exhibit 67.
Any objection from the defense on that exhibit?
No, Your Honor.
67 is admitted.
State's Exhibit 68.
Any objection from the defense on 68?
No, Your Honor.
68 is admitted.
State's Exhibit 70.
Any objection as to 70?
No, Your Honor.
That one will be admitted.
State's Exhibit 71.
Any objection on 71?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. 71 is admitted.
State's Exhibit 72.
Any objection as to 72?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. 72 is admitted.
State's Exhibit 73.
Any objection on that exhibit from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right, 73 is admitted.
State's Exhibit 74.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Exhibit 74 is admitted.
State's Exhibit 75.
Any objection on that exhibit?
No, Your Honor.
All right, 75 is admitted.
State's Exhibit 77.
Any objection as to 77?
No, Your Honor.
77 is admitted.
State's Exhibit 78.
Any objection as to 78?
No, Your Honor.
All right, 78 is now admitted.
State's Exhibit 79.
Any objection as to offered Exhibit 79?
No, Your Honor.
79 is admitted.
State's Exhibit 80.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Exhibit 80 is admitted.
State's Exhibit 81.
Any objection as to 81?
No, Your Honor.
Exhibit 81 is admitted.
State's Exhibit 87.
Any objection on that exhibit?
Did you say 82 or 87?
87.
No objection.
Okay, 87's admitted.
State's Exhibit 88.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
88 is admitted.
State's Exhibit 94.
Any objection as to 94?
No, Your Honor.
94 is admitted.
State's Exhibit 95.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
That exhibit's admitted.
State's Exhibit 96.
Any objection as to 96?
No, Your Honor.
That one is admitted also.
Exhibit 97.
Any objection?
No.
97 will be admitted.
State's Exhibit 90.
90.
Yes.
All right, exhibit 90. Any objection?
No.
Very well. Exhibit 90 is now admitted.
State's Exhibit 91.
Any objection?
No objection.
91 is admitted.
State's Exhibit 92.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, thank you, counsel. Next exhibit.
100.
I'll note 92 is admitted. Any objection as to 100?
Your Honor, I don't see the certificate of authenticity on Exhibit 100. They can point that out to me.
All right, that exhibit for now, we can pass that over. You can take a look at the issue, Mr. Wood, and bring that up.
I'll have the bailiff hand a copy to the defense.
All right, then as to Exhibit 100, upon further review, is there a continuing objection or is it stipulated to be admitted?
Your Honor, the document they handed me appears to be the certificate of authenticity, so I do not object.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Archibald. So Exhibit 100 will be admitted.
A few of these got a little bit out of order, so I apologize. State's Exhibit 98.
Exhibit 98.
No objection.
Thank you. 98 will be admitted.
State's Exhibit 99.
Any objection?
No objection.
Thank you. 99 is admitted.
101.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right. 101 is admitted.
The last one is State's Exhibit 121.
Any objection on 121?
No objection.
Okay, 121 is admitted then. If you'll give me just a moment, counsel, I'm going to confer with the clerks. Mr. Wood, it's brought to my attention some of these exhibits have sub-letter exhibits within them. Is it true that any number admitted is not objected to, including subparts?
That's the state's understanding.
All right. Does the defense understand that also, that when I admitted some certain number, if it has subparts, those are admitted as well?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. All right. With that then, just briefly, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I know that was took some time to go through that. The attorneys, I appreciate very much working together to discuss evidence in an effort to keep things running efficiently. These exhibits are all admitted, and the court has to very carefully keep track of what evidence comes into the case and what does not. That's the reason for going through each one of those individually as we did, to make sure that at the time of your deliberations you receive the right documents and don't receive something you're not supposed to have. So that's the rationale for doing what we did there. In terms of your note-taking, et cetera, these are records that you'll be able to have for your deliberations now that they've been admitted. So thank you again, counsel, for going through this in advance. And with that, Mr. Wood, you can inquire further of the witness.
Your Honor, did the court have its inquiry it wanted to make? You've been making an inquiry with each witness. I don't think one's been made so far.
As to whether or not, I don't recall now if I asked the witness if he's reviewed any of the prior trial proceedings. Have you reviewed or seen any of the trial testimony so far in the case? Okay, thank you for that, and I appreciate you bringing that to my attention as well, Mr. Wood.
And, Your Honor, before I begin questioning, I just, pursuant to the conversation with the court and counsel in sidebar, the witness does have a stack of documents at the witness desk, and we would ask him to not look at any until he's specifically asked to look at them.
All right, so for the witness then, when you testify, if you are referring to some specific document, you'll need to identify what that document is when you're referring to it, of those exhibits that have now been admitted.
Thank you. Can you state your name and spell your last name for the record?
My name is Chuck Kunsaitis, Kunsaitis.
What is your occupation?
I am employed with the city of Rexburg as a police officer.
How long have you been a police officer with the city of Rexburg?
Almost 23 years.
Have you ever worked for another law enforcement agency?
I have not.
Are you post-certified?
I am graduated post-class 131.
Okay. And have you continued receiving training over the last 23 years?
Yes.
Okay. And what is your current rank?
I hold the rank of detective
How long have you been a detective?
since 2011.
Okay. Detective, how did you come to be involved in the case regarding Tylee Ryan, J.J. Vallow, and Lori Vallow, and Tammy Daybell?
Back on November 27th of 2019, I was aware that Detective Ray Hermosillo was issuing search warrants at the Rock Creek townhomes in Rexburg for 3 different townhomes to conduct a welfare check to locate J.J. Vallow. I was not part of that initial search warrant service. I arrived later in the afternoon. I met up with Detective Hermosillo and asked if I could help. And he asked that I just walk through Department 175 just to see if there was anything of evidentiary value that may have been missed.
Okay. When you walked through, did you find anything?
I did. In the upstairs master bedroom 175, there was a printer in the bedroom. And on that printer, there was an invoice in the name of Lori Vallow for Self-Storage Plus for unit number C52. And that is a self-storage facility located at 433 Airport Road in Rexburg.
Okay. Did you obtain a search warrant for that storage unit?
We did later that evening.
Okay. And did you execute that search warrant?
I assisted Detective Hermosillo with that service.
All right. A detective, at any time in your investigation, did you have occasion to write a warrant for a P.O. box in Sugar City, Idaho?
Yes.
Why did you do that?
In this late December of 2019, we received information from Gilbert Police Department in Arizona that Lori Vallow had a post office box in Sugar City, Idaho. We followed up on that information.
Okay. And so did you wrote that warrant,
Yes,
and did you execute it?
I did.
What did you find in executing that warrant?
There was a large bundle of mail, possibly around 100 pieces, addressed to Lori Vallow, addressed to her brother Alex Cox, and her former husband, deceased Charles Vallow.
Okay. Did you find anything of interest to your investigation in that mail?
Yes, some of that mail we were able to discern it came from different financial institutions. There were cell phone bills and things of those natures. There was also mail from the Social Security Administration and IRS.
Okay. At any time, did you obtain a warrant for any other mail?
We did. Around that same time, there was a gentleman by the name of Steve Cruz who was the owner of the townhome of number 107. This was the townhome that was applied for by Lori Vallow at the Rock Creek townhomes, and there was abandoned mail that he wished to turn over to the police department, and we obtained a warrant for that. And there was letters that were addressed, or mail addressed to Alex Cox and Lori Vallow.
Okay. Based on what you found in that mail, did you serve any other warrants or subpoenas?
Yes, for the mail, we ended up sending out search warrants and subpoenas to several financial institutions.
Okay. What was the purpose of obtaining financial records in your investigation?
Well, in the hopes of finding such a missing persons case as this was, where we were looking for JJ and Tylee by this time, you can glean a lot of information from financial records. It's not only just how much is in the account, but you can look at how much activity is taking place on an account, where the money is being spent, whether it's done online or if it's done in person, if it's an everyday account for errands and those types of things.
Okay. Detective, did you create a list of financial institutions upon which you served warrants?
I did.
Let me clarify that question. I'm sorry. As to Lori Vallow and Tylee Ryan, Did you create a list of financial institutions upon which you served warrants?
I did.
Did you prepare that list in anticipation of testifying before the jury?
Yes.
Okay. Did you prepare that list to aid the jury in knowing which financial institutions that you're speaking about and being able to keep track of them?
Yes.
And do you believe that that demonstrative list would so aid the jury?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd ask that the witness be handed State's Exhibit 62.
All right, the witness is being handed State's Exhibit 62.
Do you recognize that?
I do.
What is it?
This is a financial account attribution list that I created.
Is this the same demonstrative list that I spoke with you about earlier?
Yes,
And is it a true and accurate representation of what you created?
it is.
Your Honor, for demonstrative purposes, I'd ask that State's Exhibit 62 be entered into evidence.
Any objection?
For that purpose only, no objection.
Okay, it's admitted for the limited purpose of being a demonstrative exhibit.
If I could just, I forgot.
That's
Detective,
Exhibit
could you
62.
pull Exhibit 62 from your folder?
More room up here.
Your Honor, may I publish to the jury?
Yes, you may.
Detective, can you read that? Can you see that list?
I can.
Are these the accounts that can you just briefly summarize the accounts that you either obtained information either from warrants or subpoenas?
Yeah, we obtained numerous accounts for banking records in this case, and we were able to narrow that down to the list that you see here. Would you like me to go over each one of them?
Just briefly.
Okay. So the first one is titled Lori Vallow Daybell. These are accounts that are associated with her. There's a J.P. Morgan Chase joint account with her former husband, Charles Vallow. There's a second J.P. Morgan Chase account that she shared with Tylee Ryan, and you see the last four digits after each of those. Those are the last four digits of the account numbers in a way to keep track of things. There's a third account from J.P. Chase Morgan that was also a shared account with Charles Vallow. That account ends in 0377. There is two accounts associated with BBVA. There's a personal account that's a sole account user for Lori Vallow, and that ends in 3229. There is a joint account that Lori Vallow shared with Tylee Ryan, and that one ends in 5794. There's a Barclays Hawaiian credit card joint account that she shared with Charles Vallow. There are two card numbers associated with that account, and each card number is reflected after the name. There's an additional Barclays credit card joint account that Lori was a card holder on, with sharing under her brother's Barclays account, and that would be Alex Cox. Alex had two cards, and Lori was issued one card. There's First Hawaiian Bank, and this is a personal account for Lori Vallow. Chase Southwest Air, it's a joint credit card through PFS Marketing, Premier Finances Services. This is the business that Charles Vallow, her former husband, I believe was the owner of and worked with. There's also a National Life Insurance of the Southwest. This is a life insurance policy that Lori had taken out for personal reasons.
And just the bottom for accounts associated with Tylee Ryan.
Yes, so the first two, the JP Chase and the BBVA, are shown above. They're just placed under Tylee Ryan's name. And you'll see the Chrysler Financial, and it's for a Jeep that Tylee purchased with Charles Vallow.
I'm sorry, it's for what?
A Jeep vehicle, Jeep Wrangler, that was purchased through Chrysler Finance.
Okay. Thank you. Detective, can you look at what's been marked as State's Exhibit 63A? And Your Honor, these are previously admitted, so
All right, that exhibit is admitted.
may I publish to the jury?
You may.
Detective, can you let me know when you have 63A?
I have it in my hand.
What is that document?
This is the banking application, account application signature card for Charles and Lori Vallow for the account of, which would become 0769.
Okay. What was the significance of that account to your investigation?
Well, we just learned that it was an everyday account that was used for errands, paying bills, shopping. And this was also an account that would be talking to or sharing with the Tylee Ryan account, the 3918 account.
What do you mean by talking to?
There'd be transfers of monies from this account into Tylee's account, and also this would be the account that's associated with when the account was closed, when Tylee's account closed.
Okay. Can you look at State's Exhibit 63B?
Is it possible to just take these out so I'm not making a bunch of noise up here and just lay them down flat where I can't see them?
That's fine if you want to do that.
Okay.
Take them out of the envelope and go through the stack if we're going to be going through all those records.
Okay. $63B?
Yes.
Okay.
I just know this is previously admitted. Detective, what is that document?
This is just a sample portion of the account activity of the 0769 account that Lori has with Charles Vallow. It's dated from 6/10 on the statement, monthly statement, and it runs through, I believe, July of 2019.
Okay. Did you review that account that ended in 0769?
I did.
Did you review all the documents that came in with it?
I did.
Are there regular deposits into the account?
In this account, the deposits were came in through online transactions from another account. The last deposit showing in this account came in July, just shortly after the death of Charles Vallow, and there were no more deposits coming in to this account. And the bottom line of the account just kind of dwindles down until the account goes into overdrawn status in November.
Okay. And that, just to clarify, that was the account, a jointly held account by Lori Vallow and Charles Vallow?
Correct.
Thank you. Detective, can you pull out State's Exhibit 63C?
$63C.
Yes. Can you identify that document?
Yes, this is the signature page for Tylee Ryan's shared account with Lori Vallow for JP Chase Morgan, and the account ends in 3918.
Oh,
I'm sorry, 3918.
Keep your voice up a little higher.
Or just closer to the microphone, probably. I know it's hard, but they pick up better if you talk right in.
Okay.
Detective, what was the application date on that account?
This account was signed on February 22nd of 2017.
Detective, can you pull out State's Exhibit 63D?
I have two 63Ds.
Do you want to confirm with your witness, Mr. Wood?
Yes,
You
Your
can
Honor,
approach.
if I can approach.
Yes.
So I have the chase. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
All right, now do you have 63D?
I do.
Do you recognize that document?
I do.
And what is it?
This is a year's worth of banking statements for Tylee Ryan from January 2019 through the end of October of 2019.
Okay, and what was significant about that document to you, or those records?
A couple of things that stand out to me is that this is heavily used, lots of activity on this account. She's making a lot of transactions. She is also showing that she's receiving monthly Social Security stipends. And in the year 2019, she was receiving $1,859 a month. And it also shows that she is making monthly car payments for the Chrysler Jeep.
Okay. As you go through banking records, are you able to tell the difference between what I'm going to call brick and mortar payments and online payments?
Yes.
And are there, can you just briefly describe the level of spending like at brick and mortar type establishments?
In this account, Tylee uses quite a bit of brick and mortar type establishments. She spends a lot of time at convenience stores and fast food restaurants, shopping centers, and those types of things. And that is the majority, overwhelming majority of her spending on this account is with brick and mortar.
Okay. Detective, can you look at State's Exhibit 63E?
Okay.
Do you have that?
Yes.
What does that document purport to be?
This is the final statement in September, or correction, in August into September for Tylee's account, of the 3918 account.
What is significant about that document to your investigation?
Well, for the majority of the month of August, you see her making purchases almost on a daily basis and multiple purchases on days. And it also shows her movements. What I mean by that is we know that Tylee and Lori and family moved to Idaho over the weekend of September 1st, as far as our investigation found. And it shows her making purchases up into on September 1st. There's her last in-person purchase is showing for 2 McDonald's restaurants in St. George on the 1st. I need to make a clarification if I can. You see the date in the far left column, that is the posting date. If you look next to the McDonald's purchases, it says 9/1, and that would be the purchase date of the product or transaction.
Okay. Was there any record of any money being deposited into that account after the date shown, after the last date shown on that record?
No. In fact, the last payment for Tylee's Social Security ended in July for this account. The last purchase, or last deposit for her Social Security was in July 24th, I believe, of 2019.
Okay. Detective, can you look at State's Exhibit 63F? Do you recognize that?
Yes.
What is that?
This shows a final transaction being conducted on Tylee's account on September 20th. Tylee's account had drawn down to $10.04, and this is showing a transaction that was made on 9/20, which was an online transfer to Lori Vallow's JP Chase account 0769.
Was there any?
Go ahead.
Was there anything significant about that transaction to you in your investigation?
There was nothing else from Tylee that was done on this account.
Okay. Are you familiar with, through your investigation, has there been an established last proof of life by the Rexburg Police Department for Tylee Ryan?
Yes,
And when was that?
between September 8th and September 9th.
Okay, thank you. Your Honor, if I may just briefly inquire, I've gotten a note that the documents might be blurry on the small screens. I don't know if,
Okay, I'm not sure how they're coming up most importantly for the jurors to view, so if you want to put one on to publish, and we can inquire whether or not it's legible.
okay. Detective, can you pull out State's Exhibit 63G?
63G.
I can actually view the witnesses monitor fairly well from here,
Okay.
so maybe that'll help.
Do you recognize 63G?
I do.
What is that document?
This is an online administration tool that users who bank with JP Chase Morgan can access into their own accounts, and it establishes a personal identification number to each individual that has an account.
So the page that's on your screen right now, can you identify who is identified in that as users of this account?
In that highlighted portion on the top line there, you'll see a user ID for Tylee Ryan.
Okay, and does it give an ID for her? Is there a profile ID or profile number for her?
Yes, underneath where it says online profile in that left-hand column, just down a few spots, it actually gives a profile ID number, and in this case, it ends in 0212.
Your Honor, I'd ask that the witness be handed a pointer so that he can point to the screen to show the jury what he's talking about.
All right, we do have a laser pointer available.
Is this it right here?
If you can repeat what you just said and showing the jury with the pointer what you're talking about.
In this left-hand column, down a few spots, you see a profile ID number, and that's the number right there that ends in 0212, and that's specific to Tylee.
Okay. Did Lori Vallow also have a profile number under this account?
She did.
Okay. Is that identified on the page that's on your screen?
Yes.
Okay. And where is that located again?
So in the highlighted portion, again, it has Lori's highlighted information here, and down here it has her user ID number, which is right there, and that number ends in 5132.
Okay. Detective, knowing these profile numbers, what is the significance of that in aid of your investigation?
It can digitally leave a footprint on every time you access your account or make any kind of transactions at the bank online.
Okay. Does this document show this account closing?
It does.
Can you show to the jury where it shows that?
So on the bottom half of this page, if you want to raise it just a little more, thank you. A little bit more, please. Yeah. So on the bottom of it, you'll see right here shows a date of 9/20 and a balance of $10.04. And next to it, it says high school checking, the account number ending in 3918. And this amount was transferred. Over here, it shows it's transferred to Lori Vallow's account ending in 0769. I believe it's right down here.
And is there an identifier for who transferred it?
Yes, right here there's an identifying number that shows that it was completed by the user ID of Lori Vallow.
Thank you. And what was that date again?
September 20th.
Of 2019?
2019, yes, sir.
Thank you. And briefly, Detective, can you look at 63H?
$63H.
Do you have that?
Yes.
What is that document?
This is the statement for October ending balance of the account showing a zero balance for Tylee Ryan's 3918 account.
Okay, of October 2019.
Correct.
Thank you. Detective, can you look at Exhibit 63I? Are you familiar with that document?
Yes.
Did you review this document?
I did. I'm familiar with the account. Wasn't the primary reviewer of this specific account.
What account is this?
This is the shared account for Charles Vallow and Lori Vallow, ending in 0377.
And did you obtain that through a warrant or a subpoena?
I did. This was issued with the original documents that we received.
And did you provide that to any other law enforcement agency to review?
Yes, to the FBI forensic accountant Michael Douglas.
Okay, thank you. Detective, can you look at State's Exhibit 64A?
$64A.
Do you have that? What is that account? What is that document?
This is the banking account application for Lori Vallow through the BBVA Compass Bank.
Is it a sole account?
It is a sole account. She is the only user.
Okay. When was it opened?
This account was opened in October of 2018.
Okay. And you obtained this through a search warrant or through a subpoena?
I did.
What was the significance of this account in your investigation?
Well, one of the main points of this account was this is an account only accessed by Lori, and this account will end up receiving all of the Social Security deposits into this account for Lori's income.
Okay. What date was that account opened?
October 20th of 2018.
Okay, thank you. Detective, can you look at State's Exhibit 64B?
$64B.
Yes.
Okay.
What is that document?
This is a sample statement, monthly statement for Lori Vallow's 3229 account for BBVA. It runs from, I believe, August through January of 2020.
Okay.
Mr. Wood, sorry to interrupt. I want to clarify where we're at on that particular exhibit with the court's copies. So that was, what did you say it was, 64?
I'm sorry. I think I said 64A. I meant 64B.
Okay. We've got one that's just marked 64. And as long as the witness has got them, these might just be a courtesy copy issue.
Well, I'd like to make sure defense has the accurate.
Yeah, let's see if there's sub. So 64's got subparts.
And does the court have 64B? And if I could inquire of the defense, if they have
I do have.
64B.
I have 64 and 64A. We have 64B. We don't have a 64B.
We brought an extra.
Okay.
Does counsel have a copy of 64B?
Thank you.
Detective, what is State's Exhibit 64B?
This is the monthly monthly statement printout for Lori Vallow's BBVA 3229 account from August through January, August 2019 through January of 2020.
Okay. Excuse me. I'm going to call your attention to a deposit made on 8/28. Can you see that?
I can.
And I'm going to ask if you can use a pointer to point that out to the jury.
Right here, about the middle of the page, is a deposit for $1,859 from the Social Security Department.
All right. Do you know who that deposit was? Do you know whose Social Security benefit that was?
That benefit is assigned to Tylee Ryan.
How do you know that?
Well, in my investigation, I learned when there's multiple deposits made into a single account for people receiving benefits, they're each given us an identifier. And in this case, for Tylee, you see the numbers 4121, and that would be from Tylee's received death benefits from her father, Joe Ryan, when he passed away on April 3rd of 2018. And this is the last four numbers of the decedent's Social Security number, and then there's a designation C1, and that stands for child. So she's a child receiving benefits for the decedent, of Joe Ryan.
Okay. And your investigation, is this the first deposit of Social Security into this deposit, or I apologize, into this account?
Yes.
And where was Tylee Ryan receiving her Social Security before this?
As previously stated, she was receiving money into her account that she shared with her mother from the Chase Morgan account, the 3918 account.
Okay. And this account was a sole account for Lori Vallow, correct?
Correct.
What date, I believe I already asked, but what date was that deposit made?
On the 28th of August.
What was significant to you in reviewing these records about that date?
It was right before the family moved to Idaho. And also we had learned that on or about August 20th, Lori Vallow had contacted Social Security Administration and requested to have Tylee's direct deposit from the JP Chase Morgan account changed to this personal account of Lori Vallow.
Okay. Was there any other significance of that to you?
Not at this time.
Okay. I'm going to call your attention to a deposit made. It's on the third page of the document if you want to turn to it.
Okay.
A deposit made on September 18th.
Okay.
Try and if you could use a pointer. There's two deposits made that day. Can you describe those?
Yes, they're showing two deposits on September 18th from the Social Security Administration. One is for the amount of $3,902, and the one right below it is a deposit for $4,157.
Okay. And are you able to identify what those deposits are, where they come from?
Yes.
How can you describe that?
Again, where there's multiple deposits coming into an account from Social Security, they give each account a special designation ID number. In this case, we have the last four of the decedent Charles Vallow's Social Security number. His Social Security number was 436029801, and then we have the designated C1 for the child. In this case, it would be for J.J. Vallow.
Okay. And do you know, are those the regular monthly payments?
No, this is the first installment. So when she applied for her benefits in August of 2018, this is sort of back pay that she gets from when they generated their paperwork.
Okay. Detective, and so that deposit was made September 18th.
Correct.
Are you familiar through your investigation with the Rexburg Police Department when the last known proof of life for J.J. Vallow is?
Pertinent to our investigation, J.J. was killed 5 days later.
Okay.
5 and 6 days later.
Detective, you mentioned earlier that this account, this BBVA account ending in 3229, received from August on all the Social Security payments.
Yes.
Okay. And you've reviewed this document for those payments.
Yes.
Detective, did you prepare a chart that summarizes, or I shouldn't say summarizes, but demonstrates the deposits of Tylee Ryan's Social Security? Let me re-ask this. Did you prepare a chart that demonstrates all of Tylee Ryan's Social Security deposits?
Yes.
Does that include both the JP Morgan account and JP Chase account and this BBVA account?
Yes.
Okay. Did you do that to aid the jury in understanding when those accounts were, or when those deposits were made?
Yes.
Does it label the banks to which the deposits were made?
Yes.
Did you prepare that in anticipation of testifying today?
Yes.
And do you believe that would aid the jury in understanding the deposit history for Tylee Ryan's Social Security payments?
Yes.
I didn't hear your answer.
Yes.
Detective, could you look at State's Exhibit 84?
Okay.
Detective, is this the demonstrative chart that I've just been talking to you about?
Yes.
Did you include any other information on that chart?
I included the monies being deposited into the J.P. Morgan & Chase for Tylee, and then also showing the monies being put into transferring over to Lori Vallow's account after she contacts Social Security.
All right. And did you verify the amounts on this account against the actual records?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd ask that for demonstrative purposes that State's Exhibit 84 be entered into evidence.
Any objection from the defense?
As a summary, no, I don't object.
Okay, it's admitted not as evidence, but as a demonstrative exhibit.
Okay. May I publish?
You may.
Detective, can you just explain how you made that chart?
Sure. So this legend up here for reference, the purple colors is specific to the monies deposited into Tylee's J.P. Chase Morgan account, the 3918 account. The darker colored square is monies that were deposited into Lori Vallow's BBVA account 3229. And this box here with the hash marks in just reflects the deposits being made for the month where, and the one in August and the one in September here just reflect that they were deposits being made. But as you see here on September 8th, we believe that that was the last proof of life for Tylee, and she was no longer living after those dates.
Okay. Detective, did you, similar to that chart, did you make a similar chart for J.J. Vallow's survivor benefits and Lori Vallow's mother and care benefits?
Yes.
Similarly, did you make that in preparation for testifying
Yes.
today?
Yes.
Can you look at State's Exhibit 85?
85?
Yes. And Detective, did you list the entirety of deposits for J.J. Vallow's Social Security deposits?
Yes.
Did you do the same for Lori Vallow?
I did.
Okay. And did you match these against the BBVA records we've been speaking about?
Yes.
And do you believe it would aid the jury in demonstrating when those payments were made?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd ask that for demonstrative purposes only, that State's Exhibit 85 be entered into evidence.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Exhibit 85 is admitted as a demonstrative exhibit, not as evidence.
May I publish?
You may.
Detective, can you describe how you made that chart?
Sure. Again, as I did with the last one, with color identifiers depicting the account of both JJ and Lori and their deposits. So the purple would reflect for JJ the deposited monies. The darker color would be for Lori, and the hash marks here show that this was the deposit made for September, and then we believe, pertinent to the investigation there, on the 23rd, between 22nd and 23rd of September, JJ is killed.
Sorry, 22nd and 23rd.
That JJ Vallow was killed. It also shows the Charles Vallow died in September, correction. He died in July 11th of 2019 in Arizona. She applied for the survivor benefits, received them, and then it shows the last proof of life, and then for JJ. And then it shows the monthly deposits for October. And then this box here is just a note that on November 5th, Lori Vallow married Chad Daybell in Hawaii, and she was continued to receive the benefits through January of 2020. And the last box just denotes that on June 9th, we found JJ and Tylee.
Thank you. Your Honor, we're at a point, kind of a changing point in the testimony. I wonder if this might be a time to take a break, or if you'd like us to continue for a few more minutes.
Yeah, we'll go till 3:30, so if you'd like to take the mid-afternoon break now, and it's a logical place to break, we can do that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we'll take our mid-afternoon recess.
All right, please. All right, please. Jury's present and accounted for, Your Honor.
Thank you. Please be seated. Okay, we are back on the record. Case CR 2221-1624, State versus Lori Noreen Vallow. Mr. Wood, you can continue with your direct examination. I'll remind the officer you're still under oath for purposes of your testimony, and you can inquire, Mr. Wood.
Thank you. Detective, can you review State's Exhibit 65A? Are you familiar with that document?
I am.
May I publish this to the jury?
Yes.
Thank you. What is that document?
This is the account application for the joint account shared with Lori Vallow and Tylee Ryan for BBVA account number 5794.
Okay, you testified earlier about another joint account between Lori and Tylee, correct?
Yes.
And this is a separate joint account?
Correct.
Okay. And through what institution is this account held?
Through BBVA.
Okay. When was this account opened?
This account was opened on August 19th of 2019.
Okay. Detective, will you look at State's Exhibit?
Your Honor, may counsel approach?
Yes. All right, we're back on the record. We just had a brief sidebar concerning the existence of some personal identifier information that may be contained in these exhibits, which the jurors are permitted to review, but we'll try to avoid disclosing some of that identifier information out to the public in testimony, and the court will further review whether redactions are required if at any point these exhibits are released into the file. So with that in mind, Mr. Wood, you can continue with your examination.
Thank you. Detective, can you look at State's Exhibit 65B?
Okay.
What is that?
This is a statement for Tylee for the August and into September of 2019. It shows the date the account was opened on the 19th, and it shows transactions through the 16th of September.
In your investigation, what was significant about this page?
So as stated earlier, the previous account of Tylee's, the 3918, when they were moving, the family was moving from Utah to Idaho, or correction, Arizona to Idaho. It kind of tracked Tylee's location as she was spending out of this account, and it shows that she makes a couple of purchases in Arizona, and as they're moving, there's 3 purchases that were made on the 1st of September. And again, if you look at the left-hand column, this is going to be the posting date, but if you look inside here, there's 3 purchases. There's one in Fillmore, Utah, Perry, Utah, and Wickiup, and they depict that the sales were made on September 1st.
Just for the record, can you spell Wickiup?
Wickiup, let me find it here again. It's W-I-K-I-E-U-P as in Paul.
Thank you. Thank you. Detective, can you look at State's Exhibit 65C?
$65C.
And what is that?
These are the monthly bank statements for Tylee's BBVA account starting from August of 2019 through January, I believe, of 2020. Let me just, yes.
Okay. Detective, we spoke earlier about Tylee's JP Chase spending account and about spending in brick and mortar stores and online payments. What is the general nature of the spending on this account?
The overwhelming majority past September 1st is everything was done online as far as spending on this account.
After September 1st, were there any in-person purchases at all?
We were able to find 2 in-person purchases. One was on September 17th, and that was in Rexburg, Idaho, at a Costa Vida Mexican restaurant. And the second purchase was at a Costa Vida Mexican restaurant located in Idaho Falls, and that was October 7th. Other than that, all these purchases were made online.
Okay. And what are the deposits into the account like? Where do those come from?
So as we know, Tylee is no longer receiving her Social Security benefit into this account. It's going into her mother's account.
Well, to clarify, Detective, did Tylee ever receive Social Security into the joint BBVA account?
No, she did not.
Which account did she receive it in initially?
Those monies went into Lori Vallow's account, the 3229 account.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry I interrupted you though. I had asked you what the nature of deposits into this account were.
So if you look on the inside column, this column here will be the deposit column. And as you go through the statements, The first one was for $60 and then $80, so on the September 10th and 16th respectively. And those monies were deposited into this account they were transferred from Lori's BBVA account into Tylee's BBVA account. So the money that's coming into Tylee's account is from her mother's account.
Okay. Was there anything else significant in the expenditures on this account to your investigation?
Yes, so the money that was coming in from Lori's account, you see the $60 on the 10th there, and it's then immediately Venmo'd out, and we were able to show that those Venmos went to Colby Ryan, Lori's son.
Okay. And do you know how many deposits and then Venmos there are on that account?
Yes, looking through just this from August to through January, there are 29 deposits into Tylee's account from Lori's accounts, and then they were turned around and monies were sent out to Colby on those same days.
Okay. So, Detective, just to clarify, you testified earlier about Tylee's joint account with Lori with JP Chase, and this is Tylee's joint account with Lori on BBVA.
Correct.
And as part of your investigation, did you compare and contrast the nature of the spending or expenditures and deposits on the two accounts?
Yes.
And how do they compare to each other?
They are complete opposites.
How so?
Whereas the Tylee's account for the Chase Morgan account, she is very active in that account, making daily purchases, and they are all in person for the most part, overwhelmingly in person purchases. This account, you can see as they were heading up the valley from Arizona into Idaho, her last in-person stops in Utah, and from then on, it's the overwhelming majority. Everything is done online,
Okay.
which is opposite of what her spending habits were with the other account.
Thank you. Detective, can you look at State's Exhibit 66A?
Okay?
Your Honor, in light of our recent sidebar, there are three different Social Security numbers on these accounts, and so I'm going to attempt to, if it's all right with the court and counsel, just publish but not show those numbers.
I agree with that, Mr. Wood. That's fine if you want to try to avoid having the entire Social Security number revealed.
And if the court could give us 1 second, Your Honor. That's how I was trying to do that's very ineffective. So I'm going to walk over and grab those sticky notes. Detective, do you recognize State's Exhibit 66A?
Yes.
What is that?
This is a credit card application account for Charles and Lori Vallow through the Barclays Bank. It's a Hawaiian Airlines credit card.
Okay. And do you know when they applied for that?
This was the one ending in 064 shows the application date of 9/24 of 2015.
Okay. Can you look at application 52471125?
Okay.
When was that applied for?
On the same date, 9/24 of 2015.
Okay. And then application 55662600.
This shows a date of April 19th of 2016.
Okay, thank you. And who were these applications for?
This was a joint credit card between Lori Vallow and her then husband, Charles Vallow.
Thank you. Detective, can you look at State's Exhibit 66B?
66B.
What is that document?
This is a monthly statement for the Hawaiian Airlines Barclays credit card for this account that we just spoke of.
Okay. Was there, in your investigation, was there anything significant about the information you found on this page?
There are two.
Okay, what are they?
It shows it, you can see that the card for Charles Vallow ended in 0991, and the card activity for card ending in 6611 was associated to Lori Vallow. There are two transactions of note. On the July 12th, this would be the day after Charles Vallow was died in Arizona. She makes a $3,000 plus payment to the Valley of the Sun Mortuary in Chandler.
Okay. Detective, in your investigation, have you had an opportunity to listen to any recordings made by the Valley of the Sun Mortuary?
I have.
What was the nature of that phone call?
The nature of the phone call was asking about pricing for funeral services.
Okay, and do you know who placed that phone call?
I do.
Who was it?
Voice on the recordings, Chad Daybell.
Okay, thank you. What was the second item of note on this statement?
Down towards the bottom of the page, you'll see for July 20th, a round-trip airfare was purchased on this card for Lori Vallow for Chad Daybell from Provo, Utah, round trip down to IWA, which is Phoenix Mesa, and back to Provo, Utah.
Okay, and again, what was the date of that purchase?
Showing July 20th
Okay.
through Allegiant Airlines.
And through your knowledge and investigation, was Chad Daybell married at the time of that flight?
He was.
Thank you. Who was he married to?
To Tammy Daybell.
Thank you. Detective, can you look at State's Exhibit 66C?
Okay.
What is that document?
The document is a monthly statement form for the Barclays MasterCard of Alex Cox. And this is the account that Lori has shared with her brother Alex.
Okay. How do you know she shared it?
So on the monthly statement form, it shows purchase activities. And in reviewing these documents, you see February shows Alex only, and then as we were looking through them more, then we came across, we found a card that was being assigned to Lori Vallow.
Can you describe what you see on this page of that document?
So this is the March statement, monthly statement form for the account held by Alex Cox, and it's showing a purchase activity for Lori Vallow for a card ending in the last four of 9259.
Okay. And for your investigation, was there anything of note that you found on this page?
Sure, we know that purchases were made for round-trip airfare for Tylee back in March for her and her friend, Brianna Gill. They flew round-trip from Phoenix to Hawaii. And then Later on down, we have March 14th, there's a purchase for round-trip airfare from Allegiant Airlines that was purchased for Chad Daybell from Idaho Falls, Idaho to Phoenix Mesa, and then back to Idaho Falls.
And what year were those purchases made in?
These were made in 2019, in early 2019 March.
So in March, so that was before Charles Vallow was killed.
Correct.
And pursuant to your knowledge and investigation, was Lori Vallow still married to him at that time?
Yes,
And Chad Daybell was married to Tammy Daybell?
correct.
Did you find any indication that Charles Vallow had a card on this account?
He did not.
Okay. Detective, can you look at State's Exhibit 67A? Are you familiar with that document?
Yes,
Did you serve a subpoena or a warrant to obtain that document?
I did.
Okay. And did you review the contents of what you received from that subpoena and warrant?
I'm familiar with the documents, but I was not the primary reviewer of this account.
Did you provide them to any other law enforcement agency to review?
Yes, through forensic accountant Michael Douglas of the FBI.
Okay, thank you. Detective, can you look at State's Exhibit 63D? Are you familiar with that document?
I am.
Did you review it as part of your investigation?
I was familiar with the document. Was not the primary reviewer of this document.
Did you provide that document to any other law enforcement agency?
Yes, provided it to forensic accountant Michael Douglas of the FBI.
Thank you. Detective, can you look at State's Exhibit 68? What is that?
This is I don't have what's on the screen depicted is, I don't have that in my possession.
Can the bailiff hand the witness what's been marked as State's Exhibit 68?
Yes.
Thank you.
Does defense have that? Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
I can have that document back. I think. Your Honor, may I approach the defense very quickly?
Yeah, that's fine, Mr. Wood.
Your Honor, I'm going to make sure the defense has a copy of that before we do anything with that document, and we'll circle back to it later.
All right, so that's Exhibit 68, correct?
Well, it should have been marked as 68A,
Okay,
so we will correct that and make sure that the court has a corrected copy as well.
all right.
Detective, can you look at what's been marked as State's Exhibit 82A?
82A?
Yes. What is that document?
That document is the rental application that Lori Vallow filled out and applied for housing for the Rock Creek Townhomes from Blue Sky property.
Okay. Have you reviewed this document?
I have.
Was there anything of note on it to you?
There was.
What was that?
Well, two things stood out. When this application was filled out, I believe in August, mid to late August. I don't have the document in front of me, but it depicts Lori stating that her income is $5,740, and that number is reached if you were to add all of the Social Security deposit monies that she was receiving from Tylee herself and JJ. It adds up to that sum.
Okay, and is that found on this page?
Yes. Right down here in the bottom left-hand corner.
Okay. And does that document list her income as being through Social Security?
It does.
Okay, where is that?
It's directly across from the deposit number.
Okay. Was there anything else on that page that caught your attention?
Yes.
What was it?
Right above that and under the part where it says reason for leaving, it reads, bringing children to attend BYUI. My daughter graduated high school at 16 and wants to attend BYUI, but is too young to live alone. So I am coming with her, relocating.
Thank you. Detective, we've been talking about Lori Vallow and Tylee Ryan's financial accounts. Did you review any other financial accounts as a part of your investigation?
I did.
What other financial accounts did you review?
I reviewed some financial records pertaining to her brother Alex.
Earlier, you showed a document listing out Lori Vallow and Tylee Ryan's accounts that you had prepared for demonstrative purposes.
Yes.
Did you prepare a similar document for Alex Cox's financial documents that you've reviewed?
I did.
Did you do that to aid you or to aid the jury in understanding which documents or which financial documents pertain to Alex Cox?
Yes.
And did you do that in preparation for testimony?
Yes.
Can you look at States Exhibit 69?
Okay.
Is this that same demonstrative list we've been speaking about in regards to Alex Cox?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd ask that for demonstrative purposes only that States Exhibit 69 be entered into evidence.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right,
May I
that-
publish?
Yes, that exhibit's admitted, not as evidence, but as a demonstrative exhibit.
Detective, can you just tell the jury what accounts you and documents you reviewed in regards to Alex Cox's financials?
So this is a financial account attribution list for Alex. We obtained documents from financial institutions. The ones that are pertinent, we believe, are listed here. The top one is for Desert Financial Credit Union. It's a personal account. And the account number is 7175. We spoke of the Barclays joint account that she shared with her sister Lori Vallow. There's also a lending club loan that Alex received. There's a Mercury MasterCard, and that card ends in 2400. There's Wells Fargo personal account, 8968 is the last four of that. And there was 2 Capital One credit cards associated to Mr. Cox and the Mountain America Credit Union account 3137.
Okay, thank you. Detective, can you look at States Exhibit 70A?
Okay.
Are you familiar with that document?
Yes.
What is it?
These are the account application for Desert Financial Credit Union for Alex Cox.
Okay, and did you review this document? Or did you review the Desert Financial Bank records?
Yes.
What in those records was of significance to you in your investigation? What in those records was significant to you in your investigation?
Well, the documents on the bank statements shows that Alex was receiving steady monthly income. He worked for Heritage Environmental in Arizona, and he would receive 3 paychecks a month, and it was on a very regular basis.
Okay. And did those payments ever stop?
Those payments stopped in August of 2019. We believe then that Alex quit his job and moved to Idaho with his sister and J.J. Tylee.
Okay. What else was significant in that account?
Right before in early August, I believe it was the 9th, Alex received a $21,000 deposit into this account from Lending Club.
Okay. And is there anything else of significance?
The account shows that Alex began making purchases for firearms and firearms-related items, accessories.
And approximately when does that start?
It starts in August, early August
Of what year?
of 2019.
Okay. And is that different from the rest of the account?
Yes.
Okay. Detective, can you look at State's Exhibit 71A?
Okay.
What is that document?
This is the loan application for Lending Club for the loan Alex received, $21,000.
And when did he, does that have the application date?
Showing August 8th of 2019.
Okay. And then you testified that that amount was deposited into his Desert Financial account, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Is there anything else of significance about his application?
Yes, he states for the reason for the loan was personal medical expenses.
Okay. Throughout your investigation, did you find any significant medical expenditures between the time of that loan and the time he died in December?
No.
Okay, thank you. Detective, can you look at State's Exhibit 72A?
Okay.
Do you recognize that document?
I do.
Did you serve a warrant or a subpoena to obtain those records?
I did.
And did you review those records?
I'm familiar with those records, but I was not the primary reviewer of these records.
Did you provide those records to another law enforcement agency?
Yes.
Who was that?
Forensic accountant Michael Douglas of the FBI.
Okay. Detective, can you look at State's Exhibit 73A?
$73A.
Are you familiar with that document?
Yes.
Did you serve a warrant or a subpoena to obtain those records?
Yes.
And did you review those records?
I'm familiar with the records, but I wasn't the primary reviewer of these records.
Did you provide these to Mike Douglas of the FBI as well?
I did.
Okay. Detective, can you look at State's Exhibit 74A?
Okay.
Are you familiar with that document?
Yes.
What is it?
It's an application for a Capital One credit card in the name of Alex Cox.
Did you review those records?
I obtained the records. I'm familiar with them, but I was not the primary reviewer of these documents.
Did you provide those documents to Mike Douglas of the FBI?
I did.
Thank you. Can you pull 74B, State's Exhibit 74B?
Okay.
And what is that?
This is a second application to Capital One for a credit card in the name of Alexander Cox.
Did you review those records?
I obtained the records, but I was not the primary reviewer of these.
Similarly, did you provide those to Mike Douglas of the FBI?
Yes.
Detective, can you look at State's Exhibit 75A?
Okay.
Are you familiar with those records?
I am.
And did you obtain those through a warrant or through a subpoena?
Yes.
Did you provide those documents to Mike Douglas of the FBI?
I did.
Thank you. Detective, in reviewing Alex Cox's financial information, specifically the Desert Financial, did you prepare a demonstrative chart to to show a timeline of his financial records and spending?
Yes.
Did you do that in anticipation of testifying?
Yes.
And is that chart also a timeline?
Yes.
Did you do that to aid the jury in understanding the timeline of some of his banking and the events of this case?
Yes.
Can you look at State's Exhibit 86?
My apologies. Okay.
Is that the document you and I have just been discussing?
Yes.
And do you believe that would aid the jury in understanding the timeline and financials of Alex Cox?
Yes.
Your Honor, for demonstrative purposes only, I'd ask that State's Exhibit 86 be entered into evidence.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Exhibit 86 can be admitted as a demonstrative exhibit. It's not evidence.
May I publish for the jury?
Yes.
Can you describe what you created on this chart?
Yes, this chart just depicts from February 7th of 2019 through August 25th of 2019, just a sample statement from his monthly statements to the bank account of 7175. It shows that he had a steady, regular income where he's, you'll see he averages around $4,000 to $7,000 as a regular basis for his account balance. So he's appears to be very responsible, very active in this account. And from September 1st, he quit his job and moved to Idaho. And he had no regular income after that. There's a couple other areas in here that of note. As you see here, on August 9th, he obtained his $21,000. And this is the last, and around this time, this is when he last receives his paycheck from Heritage Financial. So he's got no further income coming in after this $21,000 deposit. As you see here, this bracket here beneath the timeline shows from August 10th to October 24th. Alex, according to his account review, it makes 46 gun-related purchases on this account. And the last box above the timeline from November 13th, Alex actually opened up a Mountain America Credit Union account with we put about $4,000 into that account, and then the last box indicates the day that Alex died, December 12th of 2019.
Thank you. Detective, as part of your investigation, did you review financial records for Chad Daybell?
I obtained documents for Mr. Daybell. I did for this case, correct?
Okay. Are those documents that you testified earlier that you handed multiple documents over to Mike Douglas of the FBI? Is that the documents you obtained for Chad Daybell? Is that something you did with many of those?
Yes.
Okay. But did you write warrants and serve subpoenas and obtain documents on financial documents for Chad Daybell?
I did.
Okay. You've provided two lists so far called financial account attribution lists, one for Lori and Tylee, one for Alex Cox. Did you prepare a similar list for the documents you received for Chad Daybell?
Yes.
Okay. Did you prepare that in anticipation of testifying today?
Yes.
Can you look at State's Exhibit 76?
Okay.
Did you prepare that document to aid the jury just in understanding which accounts exist that contain this financial information for Chad Daybell?
Yes.
Your Honor, for demonstrative purposes only, I would ask that State's Exhibit 76 be admitted into evidence.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right, again, this will be admitted as a demonstrative exhibit. It's not evidence.
May I publish?
Yes.
Can you just briefly tell the jury what accounts you obtained records for?
I obtained records for Chad Daybell through Mountain America Credit Union. There's 2 accounts associated with this. It's a joint account that he shared with Tammy Daybell, his wife, and Spring Creek Book Company, which was Chad's business. Also, there's records obtained from First Hawaiian Bank on a personal account for Chad. There was a Citibank credit card that Chad received, a Wells Fargo Visa card, and there was a joint Capital One credit card account for Chad and Tammy.
Okay, thank you. Can you look at State's Exhibit 77A?
77A.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you recognize that document?
I do.
Did you receive this document through a warrant or a subpoena?
Yes.
Did you provide this document to Mike Douglas of the FBI?
Yes.
Thank you. Can you look at State's Exhibit 77B?
Okay.
What is that document?
This is a Mountain America application for Spring Creek Book Company.
What is Spring Creek Book Company?
Spring Creek Book Company is the, Chad Daybell is the owner of the Spring Creek Book Company.
What does that company do? Do you know?
I'm sorry?
Do you know what that company does?
They publish books?
Okay. And did you receive these documents by warrant or subpoena?
Yes,
Did you provide them to Mike Douglas of the FBI?
I did.
Can you look at State's Exhibit 78A?
Okay.
Do you recognize that document?
Yes,
Did you receive this document by warrant or subpoena?
I did.
Did you provide it to Mike Douglas of the FBI?
Yes.
Can you look at State's Exhibit 79A?
Okay.
Did you receive? Do you know what that document is?
This is a credit card application for Citibank in the name of Chad Daybell.
And did you receive that by warrant or subpoena?
Yes,
And did you provide it to Mike Douglas of the FBI?
I did.
Can you look at State's Exhibit 80A?
Okay.
Are you familiar with that document?
I am.
Did you receive that by, what is it?
It's a Visa card for Wells Fargo in the name of Chad Daybell.
Okay, and did you receive those records by warrant or subpoena?
Yes,
And did you provide those to Mike Douglas of the FBI?
I did.
Mr. Wood, I'm not sure we had a courtesy copy of that. I just wanted to make sure we were clear on the record on that being 80A.
80A. Does defense have a copy? Okay. Do we have another copy?
80. Oh. We have 80.
And 80 should be the business records affidavit?
Yes, it is. Okay, we do have it.
Okay,
Thank
all
you,
right.
Mr. Good. Sorry.
Fine. Detective, can you pull what's been marked as State's Exhibit 81A?
Okay.
Do you recognize that document?
Yes.
What are they, or those documents?
Credit card statements for Capital One, Chad
Okay.
Daybell.
And did you receive those by warrant or subpoena?
Yes.
And did you provide those to Mike Douglas of the FBI?
Yes.
Your Honor, may I inquire, did the state submit State's Exhibit 82?
I do not see that one on my list, Mr. Wood.
Detective Kunsaitis, do you have a State's Exhibit 82?
I do.
May I inquire if the defense has it? Okay. Your Honor, State's Exhibit 82 is an affidavit of records custodian for Blue Sky Property Management. I'd ask that that and its accompanying records be admitted into evidence.
Any objection from the defense?
I've already seen Exhibit 82 numbered as something else.
Your Honor, I'll meet with counsel after court today and verify that, and we'll recircle back to that.
All right. Let me have a brief sidebar with counsel, Mr. Wood.
Yep.
All right, Mr. Wood, based on a sidebar, let me see where we left off in terms of, it was 82, and I think it had been offered. I don't know if a ruling had been made on that.
I don't believe it had. At 82A had already come in. 82 is the affidavit of records custodian. Just wanted to make sure that was in the record.
Okay, and 82A, I think, has been referenced, but
It has.
may not have actually been admitted yet.
So, yeah, it needs 82 and 82A need to be admitted by way of the business records affidavit.
Okay, I'm going to suggest we'll clean up these issues on these exhibits. We've gone through a lot of exhibits today. We're towards the end of our trial time for the day, and in order to allow additional time for the clerks to go through, I think we'll go ahead and call it a day for now and resume again at the morning, 8:30, and we'll take some time to allow counsel to make sure the record's clear in terms of what's been admitted.